You are welcome here.
Our practitioner holding high watch today is Wendy Condi. Wendy will be in prayer during our services, knowing that the highest and best serves us all. Our prayer practitioner today is the lovely Selena Baugh, who will be sharing a reading with us and a prayer a little later. Our center is a spiritual community that teaches a principle for daily living based on spiritual principles and practices that are universal among religions. We honor all pathways by which people seek to know and connect with the divine, and we work on our individual consciousness so we can help make the world a better place. Please join me in claiming our purpose statement. We are an open, welcoming community, celebrating our divinity, loving our humanity, and nurturing our journey of spiritual discovery. Thank you. This week, we have a couple of announcements. We have the Vista Virtual Convention. Starts on, yesterday. Never mind. Deepak Chopra, let's say that all together. Deepak Chopra meditation starts October 5th at 6 to 7:30 p.m. This is a total meditation by somebody, sorry. I encourage you to sign up for our weekly email and newsletter and for all the latest information about what is happening at our center and home office. You can always visit our announcement page at our website, www.spirituallyfree.org. The overall theme for this month of October is Cosmic Connections, and today our own Kamrin Carver will be speaking on the theme, Just Like Me. Next week will be our speaker, Reverend John Cooper, who will be speaking on the theme, Inextricably Connected. Every Sunday at 1 p.m., Myrna is hosting a community Zoom meeting. You can find a link and all the info needed to drop in on that Zoom meeting on our website. Also, the second Tuesday of every month, Reverend Myrna hosts Wizards and Crones. At this time, this meeting is taking place on Zoom, and you can find further information about this meeting on our website. Both of these Zoom gatherings are most excellent ways to get to know and stay in contact with other community members. Our practitioners are always available to provide prayer support. You can submit an online prayer request through a link on our website, or if you prefer, you can request a call from a practitioner, and one of our practitioners will give you a call. As we move into our service this morning, take some nice deep breaths and allow Selena's reading and the centering music to bring you fully present to the source of all life as Selena leads us in prayer.
Good morning. So our reading this morning is from a great little book called Journey to Center. And it's just one of my many tools that I use to try to bring myself to that place of knowing and that place of centering. Our reading is entitled, Create Centered Relationships. Have you ever looked at a person, even some you may see every day, and yet at that moment experienced him or her as extraordinary or even divine? And you may wonder why at other times you miss seeing this quality. When you give something your conscious attention, you bring you to it. Something changes. Centered relationships does not depend on a particular person. It is a quality of being that you bring to that person. You are choosing to appreciate another from center. The more centered you are, the more aware you are. The more aware, the more deeply you connect to another. The more deeply you connect, the more you appreciate another. The more you appreciate, the more joyful you become. The more joyful you become, the more willing to deepen that relationship. and the cycle begins anew and more depth. When you are centered, you recognize that the relationship you have with another is bigger and grander than the garbage often generated by our differences, and that taking out the garbage is a worthwhile practice. It is one of the best opportunities we have for personal growth and for strengthening the relationship. The first question you should ask yourself when the garbage of conflict appears: am I centered? And am I coming from a place of love or fear? Being open or being right? Then, from this more compassionate place, ask, what do I need to learn? These questions will help you gain perspective and wisdom in the face of conflict, and will be reflected in a more centered choice of words and deeds, further strengthening the relationship.
Sings through me now. I am the heart of the world. I am the heart of the world. The heart of the world beats in me now. The light of the world shines through me. The song of the world sings through me now. I am the light of the world. I am the heart of the world. I am the heart of the
As we move into prayer, I recognize that one presence and power that moves in and through all of life, expressing as divine right action, love, compassion, strength, intelligence. And resting in this knowing of this one presence and power that moves in and through all of life without beginning and without end. I know that I am part and parcel of that one. And just as I know this truth for myself, I know this truth for each person here and all of creation. We are expressions of that one. Always have been, always will be. For that is our true nature. All those qualities of the divine are within us, waiting to be discovered and brought forth. It is not something separate from us. There is no way possible to be separate from the one. We live and breathe within that one. Every cell of our beings filled with wholeness. Moving forth from that place into my day, into this week that we will share, bringing this truth of our being with us. We do so graciously, we do so centeredly, bringing the whole of us and seeing the whole of others. But first, we have to know it for ourselves before we can see it out there. So recognize that power and that strength that resides within you, the connection that we each have to that one power and one source, therefore each other. We're individualized, but not separate, this day and always. I'm grateful for this time together this morning. I'm grateful for the service and this beautiful music that we'll be able to participate in. I'm grateful for this teaching. So I just release this word. It's spoken, therefore it's done. As together we say, and so it is.
I'm going to invite you to sing with us again. But before that, I wanted to acknowledge and welcome a special friend of mine, Rory Norseth, who's playing some lead guitar this month, just to fill in some really cool music that we're doing. So let's welcome Rory Norseth. There he goes. This next song we'll do together, I wrote just a few weeks ago. It's called Umoja, and it comes from the Swahili language and the celebration of Kwanzaa, which doesn't happen until late in December between Christmas and New Year's. But I'm jumping on it because it works so well for this month and this month's theme. Umoja is the idea that our physical and spiritual identity is in community. We say all the time, we're all one, we're all connected. Well, this speaks to the experience of that and some of the actions that we can take to kind of validate that for each other. Let's build some bridges. So the word is Umoja, so please sing along.
Would you join me in a conversation? I will do all I can to
Thank you. It's so fun. You write a song and then have it come to life. It just feels magical. It's my privilege at this time to introduce our special music today. This is a dear old friend, and I'm so grateful that we have him share his music so frequently. Every few months, Will send me a text, "Hey, got a Sunday open? I'd love to come play." And his energy and talent, his vocal and guitar talent is just, it's covetful, if that is a word. Anyway, let's give a warm welcome back, Will Baxter.
Thank you. Thanks, Rick. I like that new song. That's great. This one's called I Need You. It's been 4 long weeks just waiting by the phone. It's gonna be a hot spring for waking up alone. And I didn't push you away, I didn't make you leave. Sometimes what's best for you is best for me. Because you deserve more than me, and I want you to see that I need you. Yeah, I need you. Yes, you deserve more than me, and I want you to be my girl. I'm in for a long, long ride, my hand on your leg, somewhere far, far off, where the air is clean and fresh. But there's a hole in our boat, let's paddle back to shore. And now you're all wet, I want a little more, little more. Yes, you deserve more than me, and I want you to see that I need you. Yeah, I need you. Yes, you deserve more than me, and I want you to be my girl. In a distant land, when I'm your man and you never leave, and I understand, I rearrange the house, I scrub the walls, spending time with our girls in between our calls. It's too late for some, but it's not too late for all. So let's live, let's love, in winter, spring, summer, and fall. Let's live, because you deserve more than me, and I want you to see that I need you. Yeah, I need you. You deserve more than me, and I want you to be my girl. Yes, you deserve more than me. I want you to see, oh, I need you. I need you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I need you. Thanks, everybody.
Honor of introducing Kamrin Carver, who has been a pillar of our community since 2004. He has served the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living in multiple capacities, including a member of the core council, youth leadership team, and has also served as a practitioner. He now serves a different community as the owner of a private practice and clinical director of Mindful Life Recovery Center in North Salt Lake. Kamrin speaks throughout the county on trauma, addictions, and the impact of mental health and traumatized individuals, couples, and families. Kamrin is raising 2 teenage daughters at home, with his oldest son serving our country as a U.S. Marine. In his spare time, Kamrin finds joy in officiating weddings, traveling the world with his family, and exploring the many joys of hiking, rock climbing, meditation, and yoga. Please, let's have a big round of applause for Kamrin Carver.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad to be talking about the topic that we've chosen for this month. Do we have slides? There we go. Cosmic connections, like Rick. Rick was talking about earlier. You know, as I was preparing for this conversation today, I really reached into that part of me that really needed this message today, as I'm sure a lot of us do. What's happening in our world today has so many beautiful opportunities for us to divide and to separate and to be different and other than. And cosmically connecting is probably a good reminder at this phase in the process to just really understand what it is we're doing when we take that step into otherness. I love this photo too, by the way. Just that idea that, you know, we can be hardened on the outside. Our brains can tell us that we have to protect ourselves or that we have to defend ourselves, but that there is that light inside that can shine through the cracks, and that when we join together and connect, that light can shine even brighter. My talk today is geared towards the topic, just like me. The idea that no matter what is happening in the world around us, we can always find a way to find ourselves in that. We may have, why is this, okay, there should be like black spots where you can see me, right? Because right now they're just seeing slides, not me, correct? Not you. The people out in the universe that are watching me, they're black slides, and I should see black slides when I want you to see me, and then I should see slides when I want to show you a slide, but I'm not seeing that. So I apologize for anybody in the ethers who can't see me right now. I'm wearing a black shirt, black brown pants, and looking really good today after shaving. I trimmed. All right, thank you. Okay, so anyway, if we get black slides back up, somebody just let me know, and I will show you what I look like. So what happens when we choose to believe that we are somehow disconnected from the world around us is we start to develop this anxiety that heightens and this rage or this pulsing anger that keeps us up at night. And what that does to us is it anchors us into the fear, and it lets us believe that what we are fearing is real. And it starts to creep in a way that shuts us down and doesn't allow us to really open up to the connections that are possible inside of us. It shuts us down to the ability to remember what we come together and teach, every week and practice, hopefully, in our lives with the science of mind. And so as we look out into the world and into ourselves, we may be anywhere on that spectrum. We may be super anxious or paranoid or super angry. We may be really centered. But regardless of where we are in that process, I want to just bring everybody to a place of unity as we have a discussion around this issue of being just like me. Now, I don't know how many of us have seen this documentary, but it is quite amazing, The Social Dilemma on Netflix. And what it did for me when I watched it this week is it really opened me up to why we're seeing this division to the degree that we are. To the degree that we're engaged with social media, we really kind of are influenced and driven by a lot of these factors that this documentary highlights. For those of you that haven't seen it, its basic premise is that whether or not we know it, we're being controlled, our opinions are being controlled, our choices are being controlled, and we can be actually aware that it's happening, and it will still affect us. The makers of these social platforms like Facebook and Instagram have come out on this documentary and stated, I don't even let my own children, whether they're younger or teenage years, onto these platforms because I know what it's doing to their minds. It's literally stating that there can be an algorithm in the network that can basically tell us how to feel, how to behave, how to act to one another, and it's shown how these same principles and tools have been used to destroy democracies and install dictatorships in other parts of the world, just simply by controlling the way people think, the way they divide, the way they choose to align with one another. And so I bring this up just because it's kind of the virus that we're all trying to battle against right now. This is something out there in the world that is directly opposed to the work that we're doing today. As a spiritual community, this is going at the heart of what Science of Mind teaches and what it's all about. As we know and teach in this philosophy, we are all one. But if we can be taught to believe that we are somehow outside of that oneness and that there is an enemy out there trying to get us in some way, we're going to react as if that is real. So as we look out into this discussion today, I really want you to stay focused on where you're at individually right now. Just kind of scan your mental state, your emotional body, and see, where am I at right now on this spectrum of connection? Do I feel super divided? Do I feel somewhere in the middle? Because what I'm going to try to do is help us to move through that programming, that predisposition that we've all been given through, just basic evolution, for this proclivity towards us and them. And, the greatest example I have from my own life of living out this, the dysfunctional part of this principle is the story of when I served a mission. Now, I was out there knocking on doors. I was doing something I thought was the greatest thing someone could do with their life. And what I didn't understand was happening at the time was that I was driving myself deeper and deeper into this us-them mentality. Every time I would knock on a door and be rejected, I would instantly feel pity for the person who just rejected me. Oh, if you only knew the message that you were rejecting, if you only knew the life that I was offering and the joy that you could have, and now you won't have it because you've rejected me. And creating this deepening of my understanding of me being somehow better than them or better off in life. And so, they teach on missions or they did at the time when I was out there, that if the only convert you have is yourself, then you've been successful. But what I didn't realize at the time was that every time I would bring somebody to believe like I did or think like I did, I was also strengthening the us-them mentality. Because I couldn't believe what I believed unless I got enough people to believe like me too. And believe it or not, even after transitioning from one thought process to another and joining this community, I did the same thing, which was fascinating to watch as a social study. Because, I remember the days when I'd stand up here and there'd be 400 plus people out there, and I'd be talking and I'd feel like I was part of something that was so big, and if only the people from the place that I'd come from in that religious tradition could see how beautiful this was, how amazing their lives would be. And so I just transferred one mentality to a different community. And so what it shows me as I look over this is that it's not about being a part of something that's bigger. It's not the numbers that make us more right. It's about the part of us that says we need numbers to tell us that what we're doing is right. And there was a time in my life when I needed that, when I needed to believe that, in order to feel secure with myself, I needed to be part of a community that was huge, because that just felt better for some reason. Because if we can say that something outside of us is not up to our standards, whether, because I belong to this community, I'm smarter, I'm more intelligent, I'm more at one with the universe, the inverse then has to be true, right? Therefore, you're not. And so, for whatever reason, our brains need to label and define and put everything into its category, and the only way it knows how to do that is to elevate our own egoic understanding and projection. So my hope today is that each of us can leave this moment together with a strengthened connection to ourselves and understanding that the stronger that connection becomes, the less we see the world as something other than what we are. Now, what I want to also highlight today is this wonderful concept in the science of mind that states, in turning to the law, realize it is a law of reflection. What we reflect out to the world reflects to us. When we smile at the world smiles back. We change our reflection to that of good reflecting back through us. What comes back is the same, if not more. I love this concept. When I'm sitting with couples or families or individuals in my practice and I'm working with them, what I'm trying to do is really show this concept that whatever you're struggling with, whatever's happening in your life that makes you upset or struggle, it's not because of what's happening to you. It's because your reflection is showing you what's happening in you. And so they're attacking the world and they're going out and saying, well, this is the problem, this is the problem, and this is the problem. And sometimes it takes weeks, months, years to get people to see this. But my only goal is metaphysical. Even though I'm a clinician, I'm a practitioner at heart through and through, and I use these principles to help people to see that if there's something out there that's bothering you, the only way to change it is to find out why it's reflecting what you're projecting. And once that magic starts to happen, everything changes. What I love is when I'm sitting in session with somebody and they start to describe their world changing. My dad came over the other day and we had this conversation and he reacted in a way that he has never reacted in my entire life. And I just look at them and say, do you think that's a coincidence? Well, yeah, of course it is. And they go off on how, it's never happened before and probably will never happen again. And then I connect them to the work that they've done. And I show them, do you see how all the healing that you've done has been in the exact area that your father just responded to you? And the look just it's this paradigm shift that sends people outside of what they're typically used to understanding about life. People who have acted one way for years, decades sometimes, start to behave in ways that aren't characteristic. And that's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence on an individual level, and it's not a coincidence on a grander level as well. There are some concepts that we can pull from that allow us to see this. Science of Mind has a bunch of different elements to it that we can use kind of as an antidote to what's happening in the world around us right now in this virus. I picked 3 that were really good. There's the book Living the Silence of Mind, which is the companion to the Science of Mind. And the 3 that jumped out at me were the first one, Because God Knows, I Know. As we look at prayer, affirmative prayer, it's really just getting into alignment, right? When we enter into a state of prayer, we're aligning ourselves with God and with flow, what's happening all around us. When we meditate and we go into a meditative state, we are getting our brains out of the way and we are connecting to God. And we're saying, show me what's beyond thought. Show me what's beyond what I think I know. Show me the wisdom that exists so that I can connect to that and get my head out of the way. So connecting to what God knows is essential if we are going to implement this antidote. Secondly, race mind. I don't know how many are familiar with this term, but Ernest Holmes taught about race mind being what is given to us by default. So that is, the cultural influences that are all around us, the social expectations that exist on a daily basis, as well as the genetic programming and the epigenetics that were given to us. Epigenetics is a study of our genome that shows that just like we have our father's eyes or our great-grandma's smile or the height of our father, we actually also have the personality of our grandmother. We have the memory of when our grandfather lost his leg when he was 7 in our genes. And that just like some of us have certain characteristics and others in our ancestral line don't, we can turn those on. So we don't even know sometimes what we're reacting to. It can be social, epigenetic, or cultural, but it's the default nonetheless. And it's our job to rise above that default. It's our job to use the default to actually catapult us into what we really want, instead of perpetuating more of what we don't want. And the third, life is a mirror, which is basically what I'm talking about today. Now, I am going to go outside of what the documentary actually asked us to do. And when, you get to the end of the show, they're basically telling you, we've got to disconnect, we've got to pull out of social media, we've got to stop the algorithms from using us to get better, and AI from, infiltrating our world and to, save us in the next generation. But because I'm approaching this from a metaphysical standpoint, I'm going to interject the opposite. And I'm going to say, go into it, use it. And allow yourself to see day in and day out where you're at. Where's your barometer? How upsetting is this stuff to you? How much does it take you outside of your center? How much do you allow it to convince you that there is a problem in the world and that you need to worry about it or be scared of it? It can be a beautiful feedback loop if you let it. It can be that mirror that says, wait, I may have some broccoli in my teeth, or my hair might be out of place. If you don't hold up the mirror, you can't see it. Social media can be a great mirror. There's also another great mirror out there, and that's our families. Those are the people who we bring closest to us, right? So it's our spouses, our partners, our children, our parents, the people who are right in the general vicinity that we're functioning out of. They are the clearest, most powerful mirrors. They're 360 mirrors. We can look anywhere and they'll show us all the problems that exist inside of us instantly. And it's a beautiful thing. But sometimes we use it to fight and to go to war. Now, there's a program that I recently attended this week that helped me to see this really well. My buddy, my colleague, my pal, Emil Harker, he created this group called the Marriage Club, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And he wrote this book called You Can Turn Conflict into Closeness. And the reason I bring him into my talk today is because as I was sitting through his presentation this week, I realized, oh my goodness, it's conflict that is the open door by which we walk through to find our unity. And all of a sudden, my brain just started creating all these montage of my entire life, of all of the conflicts that I've had throughout my life, and how when I chose to use them to create unity, they were the greatest sources of my healing, my joy, and my connection. I remembered fights I'd had with spouses, fights that I'd had with parents, fights that I'd had with my own family. And I was like, yeah, after the fight, that makeup, that's magic. If you can work through a conflict, the release that comes on the other end is so amazing that you're almost closer than you were before the conflict because you passed through it together. I am not proud to say this, but I have been in a low-grade conflict with my family of origin for the last few years. And I decided to implement this principle. I decided to use that conflict as a door to walk through. And I met with every one of them individually. I had a Zoom meeting where we all got on and processed together. And then we planned a trip together where I then met again and reconnected as someone different, someone who wasn't perpetuating the conflict of the past. And it was one of the most spiritual experiences that I've had as I watched years of chaos and, well, it wasn't really chaos, that's a strong word. I use that a lot. It was just conflict, but just to watch that kind of melt away felt so good. And as I sat through Emil's presentation, I realized that conflict can be something that we can actually run towards instead of away from. It can be something that we can use as a tool instead of as something that breaks us down, and something we don't have to be afraid of, but something that we can actually embrace. So, let's see where we're at here. Oh yeah, another, I want to make sure I cover this too. When I was running groups at the residential treatment center, and we were bringing people in at the worst times of their whole lives, you know, when they'd been beaten down and addiction had just taken them over to the point where they couldn't even function. And then we put 20 of them in a building together and say, hey, get along. That doesn't always work so well. And so I ran a group every week where I would sit with people, and it was just a conflict resolution group. And it was so beautiful. It was my favorite part of the week because I got to watch them go from this like horrific anger and rage, like threatening to leave, and you know, whenever someone threatens to leave residential care, they're really saying, I'm going to go relapse, I'm going to go use again. So they would put their whole lives on the line because something had gone wrong between this person they never met before, and they were going to just destroy their lives because of that conflict. But we could get them to a point where they were actually friends after, where they were actually working together to help each other through this sobriety journey that they were on. And I just thought that was an amazing experience to do week after week, and to watch hundreds of people come through this program and do the same thing. This is a principle that works for everyone, whether you're at the worst place in your life you've ever been or moving towards something a little bit more healthy. I was in session this week with a couple who were really struggling to understand one another and the actions that they were each taking to hurt each other. And something came out of my mouth that I actually learned from. And that's why I love my job so much. You know, you talk enough, eventually start learning from what you say. And I was like, wow, that is such a good concept, and one that I anchored in and rooted in and have meditated on several times since. So I wanted to share it today because it's so appropriate. And what I said was that, sorry, I lost my place here. I have my quote here. When we have fully allowed love to live itself through us, we cannot be upset by the actions of others, no matter how much we perceive their intent to be towards our suffering. And I was like, wait a minute, that's true. I said something that's really profound here. And I started to think how every spiritual leader that has walked the earth and truly changed something, I talked about this last month, they have a centeredness about them, a calm. It's a love that permeates, and it's above conflict. The entire social structure of which they are a part can collapse around them, can literally attack them like a virus and want to eject them. And they stay calm because their love is so big and they're so connected to that power that anyone can act any way that they want to, and it doesn't get through because it's not real. They see, I am one, I am connected to all. I can see what's happening out there. I know exactly what that is because I've been there. I've hurt like they hurt. I've done what they've done. And I know that I don't have to make this about me because I've been there and I know it's about them. And I can just be love. How cool would that be to get to that place in life where Anybody could be themselves. You could drive down the road and see bumper stickers or flags waving or whatever that like triggers something that says, ooh, threat, bad, not me, and still be at peace and not let that get to us. That's my goal. That's something I'm working towards every day. And there's a meditation that I'd like to take you through right now that will help to illustrate this concept. It is called Just Like Me. Oh, look at, there's another slide I forgot about. So this is actually a slide that I want you to focus on and look at each of these words. Global warming, gay marriage, euthanasia, abortion, religion, pornography. Hot button issues all over the place. I picked this slide because it didn't have like the real ones that are going around the world right now, and I can't say any of them because I'm on stage, but pick yours that are current, because I don't want to divide unintentionally. Pick the ones that are current for you. What brings up the most angst for you? Find the place in you that gets distracted or off course when it comes up and makes you forget that we are all one. And as you find that issue, maybe there's a person attached to it or a relationship attached to it. Find that person or that relationship. Bring that into your mind. Hold it. And join me in this meditation. Just like me, you are seeking some happiness in your life. Just like me, you are trying to avoid suffering in your life. Just like me, you have known sadness. Just like me, you want to be loved. Just like me, you were once an innocent child. And just like me, you are a spirit on a journey. And now imagine that whoever this is that's sitting in front of you stands up and you embrace, like that image that we saw in the beginning of this discussion. Feel the light in your heart as it burns brightly and joins with the light in their heart. And find that space outside of division, outside of social issues, and connect, knowing that just like you, they too know what that feels like. And now release that feeling. Feel the weight or whatever shift you experience during this process. Anchor into that. Let that spread throughout your body. And if you so choose, join me in this spiritual mind treatment as I speak it for myself. If you choose to make these words yours, feel free to read along with me. Or if you just like to listen to my voice and keep your eyes closed as you marinate in the goodness that you just created, that is an option too. I sit quietly and compassionately with all that is and all that I know myself to be. I feel my heart as it connects to a love more powerful than I know, a joy more expansive than I have yet to experience, and a life more vibrant than I ever thought possible. I bring into my awareness my oneness with this power and all that is around me. I offer to myself compassion, kindness, and a gentleness which centers me in my wholeness. And from this place, I am able to choose to see the light that binds me to every fabric of the universe. In doing so, I welcome in the contrast of that which I may unknowingly push against. From this place of forgiveness, I welcome into this space each of my brothers and sisters, along with their many varying thoughts and opinions. I hold them all as equals and deserving of expression. I see God in the faces of those I may mistakenly see as my enemies, and hear the voice of good in those I would otherwise be tempted to resist. I acknowledge the beauty of diversity and the necessity of the beautiful tension it provides. I see each of these situations and relationships as opportunities to connect and to be free from that which has convinced me there is an other. I choose freedom as my guide and release the struggle to make the world like me. I know all is working towards a perfect outcome, and that as I align myself with this flow, I am empowered to be the very best version of myself. I release the need to control, I surrender the desire to fight, and I look forward to a future of peace, wherein I may find my final resting place. I know it is done, according to my word and the power of my intention. And with a collective sigh, we say together, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We're all so blessed this morning. Now is our time of conscious giving, which in our center is one of our spiritual practices, something that we do for our own spiritual health and well-being. We recognize the blessings that have come to us as a part of the divine flow of good. And in gratitude, we keep that flow going by sharing what we have with our spiritual center, so that it might continue to bless us and remind us of the truth of who we are. We understand that some of you are experiencing changes in your financial situations. Just know that for those of you who can continue to contribute, it will mean more now than ever. In the spirit of gratitude for our good, please bring your gift into your mind and heart as we speak together our giving blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Filled with gratitude, I let this be, and so it is. Thank you.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me.
all that I need comes to me, and that includes the amazing Will Baxter. Let's have him up. Let's hear some more special music. Will Baxter. I think I need you, man.
Come out of that freezing water and cover yourself up. You ain't the ocean's daughter, no. I ain't no weakling pup. Come and walk beside me, together, hand in hand. We've got to try to make it. Let's make it to the promised land. Because the world is in trouble. World is in trouble. Everybody stop right now. If we can come together, we're gonna make it somehow. So everybody stop right here today and fall on your knees and begin to pray. Because the world, we're in trouble. World is in trouble. All the world is in trouble. World, we're in trouble. So come out of that freezing water and cover yourself up. You ain't the ocean's daughter. I ain't no weakling pup. Come walk beside me, I'll walk beside you, together, hand in hand. We're gonna make it, let's make it to the promised land. Because the world is in trouble. World is in trouble. All the world, oh, we're in trouble. World is in trouble. Oh, yes, we are. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cameron. Beautiful message. I was reminded by Reverend Donald Graves, who told all of us, I think, one Sunday, to stop believing that we need to get out of our own way. The concept of going toward the conflict is uncomfortable, but right on. Thank you. And I loved in your prayer the beautiful tension in diversity. It's just poetic. I might use that in a song. It's gorgeous. Thank you for coming today. We've had a marvelous day, wonderful service. Thank you for being here. I'm going to ask you to stand. We're going to sing together our closing song, and this is a blues tune, but it's a happy blues tune. Have you stand and join us. Let's work together. This is an awesome song by an old rock and roll group called Canned Heat. It's fun. I feature Rory on lead guitar here. Yeah. There he goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is a church tune. Yeah.
Together we stand, divided we fall, yeah. Come on now, people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we stand, every boy, girl, woman, every man. Before things go wrong, is there sometimes will the roads that we travel seem all uphill. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, you know together we stand. Every boy, girl, woman, every man. Well, now 2 or 3 minutes, 2 or 3 hours. What does it matter in this life of ours? Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we stand. Every boy, every woman, every man. Rory Northside. Now make someone happy, make someone smile. Let's all work together and make life worthwhile. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we stand. Every boy, girl, woman, every man. Oh, well, now, come on, all you people, walk hand in hand. Let's make this world a good place to stand. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we stand. Every boy, girl, woman, every man. Take it away, Rory. Yeah, together we stand. Every boy, girl, woman, every man.
Yeah. Thanks. Have a blessed week.
God inspired.